dying in and out on me. Weird stuff is really coming into play.
What the heck?
Why, that was running there.
Hello, Mr. Pyle. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to come in and have a seat here.
Certainly.
It's good to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. After all, I lived here for 10 years.
That's right. That's right. I understand you are the last dispatcher left from the Tulsa Fire Alarm Building.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we're just going to talk with you a little bit tonight, so if you mind having a seat. And I see that you brought your history book with you.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Yeah, since I wrote the history.
You wrote that book?
I wrote this part of it.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the building itself and kind of what your role was here?
Well, this building was conceived by the chief electrician at the time, and Mr. Norris thought we needed to have a new building.
Okay.
Because they were operating out of old fire station number 2, which is in the 500 block North Main, and there wasn't room for expansion. So it took a while to get the funding and everything for it.
And timing was a little bit bad because of the 1929 stock market crash.
That slowed things down a little bit. They worked on the building starting about 1930 and basically had it completed by 1934.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that we actually got into the building at that time, but as quickly as possible we got into the building, and the dispatcher started working here. The equipment you see right here is the original equipment, and that's called game well.
Okay.
And you dispatched by a key.
Okay.
And everything was a code.
Now, how did you know that you needed to dispatch something?
We got calls by telephone.
Okay.
People had phones by then.
Okay.
And we had the box alarms. These were on the corners. And so this, you pull that, it would come in on what we called the Form 4, which sat right over here.
Okay.
And then we would dispatch the run according to what the box number was. This was the console when I came to work, and you can see these are the tapes where the box numbers would print out.
Okay.
On those tapes. Here are the drawers where we had all of the run assignments on index Cardex cards. You pull it out, flip it to the street you needed to go, and dispatch what was shown for that particular box.
And this actual console sat in this room we're sitting in?
Sat right here in this room, and we're almost right where it was. Kind of around this area here. Where he's sitting would have been about where I would sit to dispatch.
Okay.
And right in here would have been where my telephone operator would have been. because you had one person answering phones and then you had one person dispatching. And then sometimes we had a third person available, and we'd rotate the job and everything. It was a good job. It was interesting. Boxes, for the most part, when they'd come in, we knew we already had a false alarm.
Okay.
Kids loved to pull them.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And they finally took them out because it was getting to be too much of expense to maintain them, plus the runs. It was dangerous. You know, when you're making an emergency run, lights and siren, people don't often get out of your way. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And but this system, we became the first city west of the Mississippi to install the game well system, and we were also the first city to become fully motorized as far as fire apparatus.
Wow.
The last of our horses went to Kansas City.
For the Budweiser
No,
group? No.
Kansas City. Kansas City Fire Department.
Oh, Kansas City Fire Department. Okay.
Yep. Which coincidentally, one of my cousins worked on that, and he was actually a driver on an engine. A steamer.
A steamer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the old alarm office, that's me.
That's you.
And this building was always very interesting.
Now you
When
worked midnight shift, right?
I worked midnights, I worked days, I worked evenings. Sometimes I worked 24 hours. Because we were short. A lot of the guys I showed you a picture of the guys that I went to work with. A lot of them were starting to retire.
Okay.
And so we were becoming short-handed, resulting in some of us having to work a lot of hours. Not that I really minded, because it added to my paycheck, but of course Uncle Sam got most of it. And then we began to get about 1972, we started getting some new dispatchers in. And some of them stayed, some of them didn't. Some of them went out on trucks. And so it was quite interesting to see the ones that came through. I think, no, none of these. Well, she came to work after we moved down to the police courts building. He worked for me. Well, actually, all of these two, this one, and this one, they all worked for me. So,
And
at
so
one time or another,
you were in the building until the building actually closed.
until the building closed, and that was in February 1981.
So you were one of the last ones to walk down the steps.
Yeah, I was on the evening shift, and I left the building, and the midnight shift came in and took over. And then the next morning, I had orders to report to down the police courts building in the basement.
And that's where
And
all the operation moved.
when they finished here, I took over dispatching down there.
So were you sad to leave this building?
Yes. Yeah, we did not like going down there because, first of all, we didn't have a kitchen. Secondly, we didn't have good parking, and you had to feed a meter
Right.
because
That's not
they
fair.
didn't give us parking passes, which I wish they had. But anyway, this building is, when I first went to work here, it was quite interesting because, of course, I hadn't worked in communications, but I quickly learned, thanks to my chief, who put me to work right away updating the Cardex system. And I learned a lot about run assignments in the city of Tulsa that way. And maintained them continuously after that until we went on computer. And even then I ended up maintaining, because I was one of only 2 people allowed to enter stuff into the computer and back it up.
Oh, wow.
So, but it was, all of these were interesting. In 1972, I was on my way to, we had a third alarm fire going, and I had to go to class at TCC, what is now TCC, it was TJC then. Well, I was going up to class, and lo and behold, here's a vacant building with flames coming out the back of it. Well, I had a key to the fire alarm box, so I just walked over, opened up the box, hit 5, and sent. 5 indicated as the Gamewell number for an alarm instead of a still, which is 3. Well, to be sure, I ran it a second time. I hit 5 again and then sent it again. And engine 1 pulled up, and I told him, I said, "You'd better tell 4s bring in a line." It's blossoming out the back.
Oh, yeah.
They went, "Ooh." So I went on to class. I had a test. Took the test. Came back down here. Well, they'd put the fire out up there, but we still had the third alarm going. And the console, the way I had set it up before I left, was exactly the same an hour later. So, nothing had changed.
Wow.
But it was, that was the Boulder Plaza apartments that burned. We had a heck of a time with that one.
Now, after this building closed, it kind of went into some disrepair and had some vandalism, had some other issues going on.
Yeah, and we were really unhappy about people stole things like the light standards and the flagpole, and and actually they stole, well, they took the sandboxes out, because those are all replicas of what was here. I don't think we've got any of the regular, of the old ones, unless somebody brought them in. But we don't have a whole lot of the equipment that was here, and that's unfortunate.
So,
because if we had some of this equipment, see, this is the transmitter for the Gamewell. When you key it up, this would transmit it, and it'd go to the stations. And you've heard, every morning we would run radio tests, and we'd hit through the microwave teletype. We could send Gamewell signals, and I'd send the test tape, and then the stations would respond back with 9 bells teletype 10-2.
Oh,
because the test tape would hit 9 bells at the station. And that way we knew that that it was functioning properly.
Now,
it was a fascinating place to work, because you never knew what was going to happen. The radio shop used to be right down here where that vacant area is. Well, the police department personnel would bring their cars in at night. Well, nobody was at the radio shop at night, so they'd come up. We'd have to open the doors for them to come in and leave the keys on the console. And then when the radio shop people came in the morning, they'd come and pick up the keys and go fix the cars. But we would have visitors from our next door neighbors occasionally come through.
So
which was always rather fascinating.
So tell me more about that.
Well, we'd be sitting here and we'd be talking, just like we're talking now, and a dark form would come through this wall right here, walk past the console, and right out the doors. Now that door, those doors used to have magnetic lock on them. They would open and close, and the outside doors would open and close. And it was, well, we decided that probably what was happening is some of our more restless neighbors over here were taking a little hike.
Okay.
And of course I pointed out to some of your people that there's several military graves over there from the Civil War.
Right.
Some of them are Confederate, some of them are Union. And we're not too sure, but
Do you
but
think?
they're still wandering around.
Okay. Now, and we also learned too that a lot of these graves were relocated.
Yes, they were. Where the BOK Center is now used to be the first graveyard. But when they were building the center, they ran into some of the graves that hadn't been moved because there had been development down there before. Well, they thought they got all the graves and they moved. The majority of them came out here. And they're down there and mostly in Potter's Field because there were no markers.
Right.
And so who knows?
Who knows?
Some of them may be wandering around.
Okay.
But if you go out there in the cemetery at night, and I'm talking about after midnight, when it's really kind of dark
And quiet.
and very quiet, you'll see little globules of light floating around. And it's always very interesting. So once in a while we would look out the window and see that on the midnight shift. Well, guys are restless tonight.
Right. Did you ever get scared?
No.
No.
Yeah. We knew they wouldn't bother us.
Okay.
They were in their world, we were in our world.
Right.
And the two didn't
cross over
at any point. So.
Now, I did do some research, and when the building had gone into disarray, had vandals, people breaking in, there were some homeless people utilizing this for shelter.
Oh, yeah.
And they did have a homeless person pass away, they think of natural causes, inside the building. And of course, since then, the building's been restored.
Oh, yeah.
And the Tulsa Fire Alarm Museum has come about to try to save this building and make it a museum for fallen firefighters, and also the memorabilia as you spoke about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad that they're doing it because this building deserved to be kept. It's one of the finest Art Deco buildings in Tulsa.
Yes, it is.
And to have lost it would have been a great loss. And I know that the architects in the city were trying to figure some way to save this thing. And thank God we've been able to. And I hope that we will be able to complete everything in accordance with the way the designs are set up for it. It's going to take money, as with anything else, and we rely on donations. Right. So.
Well, and we're looking to promote the website, which is TulsaFireAlarmMuseum.org. They're also on Facebook.
Yeah.
If anyone watching this would like to donate to this cause, we would like to support it as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I always got a kick out of the fact that one of our first female firefighters is the ramrod for this thing.
Oh, really?
Debbie.
Debbie, okay. That's good to know.
Yep.
Well, we know that females get things done. So.
And she definitely has. She was in public information. And so she had a lot of contacts. And she's a super person, let me tell you. I've known her for quite a while. Well, since she came on.
Okay.
So,
Well, as you know, we're going to do an investigation tonight.
yeah.
Do you have any tips for us on what we should look for, or?
Any tips? Well, not really, other than just be quiet, turn off the lights, because we used to dim down the lights.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have these. We had fluorescent fixtures because they dropped the ceiling, and but we had a way of turning off all but one bank. So when we turn that one bank off at night is sometimes when we would see our little friend come wandering through, and I'm sure others came wandering through that we didn't notice.
Okay.
So
I actually have a question for you. Do you by chance remember like any names spoken out to you or anything like verbally talked to you? Or?
no, just a dark form would come through, go that way, out the door. That was it.
Okay.
And there was never any communications at all.
And when that happened, what did you and your coworker do? Did you just watch it?
Watch. Wasn't anything we could do, so that's interesting. See the door open, close, door open, close. Okay. We got one restless tonight.
Okay.
So.
Well, let me be the first to say thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I enjoyed all 26 years that I worked, and when I retired, it took me a little while to get used to the fact that I no longer had to get up in the middle of the night to come down here to work, or no longer had to spend long hours working. And sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I'll look over at the clock and it'll be maybe 5 in the morning, and I'll look at it and I'll think 0500 Tulsa Fire Department, KKC 987.
So you still got it.
In green.
Yes.
Well, I go into the fire stations a lot, and the older firefighters who were working when I was still dispatching, a lot of them will say, okay, we need you to go back to work. We need you down there. And I tell them, no, they don't want me down there. I'm fire department.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us and giving us this great history about this beautiful building, and we look forward to kind of seeing what happens tonight and spreading the word about the Tulsa Fire Alarm Building. And
we appreciate that. This building contains a lot of history, even if you don't see it. Because when I come in here, I can feel the presence of my co-workers, the ones who passed on. Because this is where we worked for 10 years together. And
probably a lot of great memories.
oh yes, a lot of them. A lot of good conversations, a lot of discussions about firefighting, and in one guy's case about World War II, because he was a airborne radio operator on Catalina patrol bombers in the South Pacific. And we had one guy that was a farmer, and so we talked agriculture, because I was raised on farms and family orchards. So. But I miss all of those people.
Well, I've always been told the firefighter community, it's really about family.
It is. When my parents down in Dallas were having a lot of problems health-wise, my dad had started falling a lot. My brother couldn't lift him because he had a back injury. I went down to the closest fire station, talked with them on all 3 shifts, and they said, "Don't worry, we'll take care of him." And then after had to put my dad in a nursing home, I went down and told them that he was in nursing home now, and thanked them for their care and everything. And they said, "No problem, family."
Yeah.
So wherever you go, if you're a fire retiree or a active firefighter, you're family. You're always welcome in a station. And it's funny, I can go to California, walk into a fire station there. I'm just as welcome there as I am fire station here in Tulsa. So.
And it's just like you're part of the crew.
That's it.
Well, give us a look here at your book.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've looked through it, and it's very well written, and I love the pictures, the historical pictures that you've added. But this is also a part of history that we have here with the Tulsa Fire Alarm Building. It's you authored quite a bit of it.
Well, I authored the part on the fire alarm building, on the fire alarm system and everything. That I researched it and under direction of the chief of the department.
Okay, well you can't say no to that, can you?
No, because I was a history major.
Yes, yes. So this alone, I think, will be a testimony to your work here, your co-workers' work, and what they did at the time that they were here.
Yeah.
And how the system has evolved and changed, but will never be forgotten.
And I don't want them to be. I can almost see them.
Well, we'll make sure that we share this video and get it out. And I know the Tulsa Fire Alarm Museum is in full support, so that we always remember what this building was.
Yeah.
And the importance it was to the community.
Yeah, because this was the place you called if you had a fire, and later it became the place you called if you had a medical emergency too. Because even before we had paramedics or EMTs on the department, we ran what we called inhalator calls. All we had was an oxygen bottle, but hey, we could get there, give a person having a heart attack oxygen till the ambulance got there. And we even planned at one time to take over the ambulance service, because funeral homes were wanting to get out of it. And
so funeral homes were in charge of the ambulance service back then?
Until 1980, I think it was. And that's when they formed EMSA.
Okay.
So, Emergency Medical Services Authority. And then we started getting EMTs on the job.
Right.
And now it's a requirement that you be an EMT to get on the job. The interesting thing, I was already an EMT because I earned my EMT in the Navy.
So you were ahead of the game.
I was ahead of the game.
Well, I appreciate you coming and sharing with us your experiences here, your work experience, the stories from your coworkers, and the history of the fire department itself.
Yeah, this department has a wonderful history. If people will just take the time to take a look at it. There's still a lot of the older fire stations around.
Right, right.
And unless it's been torn down, old 13s is still down on Charles Page Boulevard. Number 9 is still down on Charles Page. I'm not sure whether old number 2 is still around up on North Main, but there's several of the old ones. There's been one that was repurposed, number 8. And A lot of them have been repurposed either into housing or into office space.
I've seen a few of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that works out pretty good. And let's see, I think Old Station 11, I think the police department took it over to store some of their equipment in it. And which is great. You know, it's being used. It's there. People can see it.
Right.
And but we've also lost a few. Like the original Station 1. Mm-hmm. It's gone. It was down on 2nd Street. Well, what do you got on 2nd Street now? In the 100 block. Well, you've got this huge tall building called BOK Tower. Right. That we had a fire on the top of it when it was under construction.
So to all the viewers that are watching right now, is there a way the viewers, if they want to know more about this, so we can keep the history going, and so that never be forgotten, is there a way for the viewers to purchase this book anywhere?
I don't think there's any of them available anymore. The Firefighters Local is the one that handled the sale of these. And I don't think that I don't believe there are any still available.
But they will be included as a part of the museum.
Eventually, if nobody else gives them, I'll give them my copies. I've got 2 copies of, I've got the original one, and then I've got this one. This is the second one.
Okay.
So, it's really, people tend to forget about fire departments unless they need them. And when you need them, well, folks, we're there.
That's right. That's right.
And a lot of people don't realize that when you call down to, you call in 911 and you ask for the fire department, you're not getting a fire station. You're getting the dispatcher. And they're going to ask a bunch of questions. And please answer those questions, because it's important for us. If we get the information right away, within 20 seconds we can have companies rolling. That's how fast it is.
Wow.
We timed a fire unit from the time they got the dispatch to the time the apparatus hit the street was 45 seconds.
Wow.
Now you figure those guys are waking up in the middle of the night from a dead sleep and heading down the street at sometimes 45, 50 miles an hour. Try that. It's not easy. Not easy. But we do it. And I've never had a firefighter killed while I was on duty or even off duty. But I've had some close. Mm-hmm. 2 of my friends, one went through the ceiling into a fire room on fire, and one went through a roof into a fire. But they made it out, thank God. And
this building will have a memorial to our fallen firefighters as well?
I'm hoping so.
Okay.
I hope so. Every year we have a memorial service down at Veterans Park for recently deceased. One time we had it here, and I was sitting out on the bumper of the truck, and one of the television stations focused on me sitting on the bumper of the truck, and I was just looking at the building, and I was thinking about the guys I worked with. They aren't there. Well, they're here. You just don't see them. Mm-hmm. You feel them, but you don't see them. And that always hurts a little bit. Realize that you're getting older. The guys you worked with are going. There's a lot of the guys that came on the job after I came to work at the fire alarm office that they've already died. They say that it is rare for a firefighter to live longer than about 5 years after he retires.
Really?
Some of them don't live more than a year. So.
Is that due to the smoke inhalation or?
Yeah, and the older firefighters, you didn't wear masks. If you put one of those masks on, you were a wimp. I'm not kidding. You were a wimp. And I've gone into fire buildings without a mask, so I know what it is. And you come out and you're spitting up crud, coughing up crud, black crud. You got black crud coming out of your nose.
Man,
It's just really tough.
I'd rather be a wimp.
But then they made it mandatory that you wear masks anymore.
It's probably better for everyone's health.
Well, the type of material you have in a house or a structure today it puts off toxic fumes, and you just can't go in like you used to. So it rather than destroy yourself, wear the mask.
Yeah.
And the newer guys do. They are more likely to wear it. And because it's now mandatory, all of the guys do pretty much. So, but I can remember those days when, I remember the days when we rode the tailboard of a fire truck. That's not fun when you're hanging on the Johnson bar and you're bouncing over railroad tracks and everything else. So, in fact, I had a situation where I dispatched Station 2 northbound on, let's see, they were going northbound on Boulder. And the engine had a couple of rookies on the back. And I heard ladder 3 call, and they said, "Ladder 3, engine 2, you just lost your rooks."
Oh no!
So we had some humorous things occur. Fortunately, they weren't hurt, so it was okay. It was good to have the experiences that I've had. When I can talk about them, I'm passing on the history that I know, the experience I've had. You'll never have that experience because we don't have the kind of dispatching system we had when I went to work. So, and I spent 26 years watching it change. And it was kind of sad the day I retired. That last shift. I walked in and I was in my fire department uniform. And I did my shift. And at the end of the shift, I told them, I said, I'm going to dispatch the last hour. And I did. And I sent out a message on the teletype. I'd already cleared it with the chief to do so. And it simply said, "Goodbye. Good luck. Dispatcher Pyle is 4-4. 4-4 is game well signal for out of service." That was it. Somewhere, I think I've got a copy of that darn thing. I think they gave it to me. That was bittersweet, to say the least. You spend 26 years of your life protecting the citizens of Tulsa. And all of a sudden, you're not. Of course, the state didn't let me stay very long with being retired. Actually, I went to work with my brother and my sister's brother-in-law. He had a couple of restaurants downtown. He wanted me to work for him, so I did that. I worked for the Bank of Oklahoma for a while. And then I decided, okay, that's that. I'm going to take Social Security. I did. And I thought, well, I'll work part-time. And my accountant said, you're going to pay it all to Uncle Sam. And I said, no, I'm not. No way. And then the state got a hold of me. And I taught disaster preparedness classes for 7 years. And when I hit 70 years old, I said, that's it. I'm through. I'm retired. I want some time for myself. And now I'm reaching steadily towards 80. So I'll be 77 this year.
Well, happy early birthday.
Well, thank you. But I still remember this. I still remember the guys I worked with. Not just the ones out here, but the firefighters too. I've always said that Tulsa has the finest fire department west of the Mississippi River, and maybe in the nation. So be thankful we've got a good department. And we don't just dispatch Tulsa anymore. We also dispatch Catoosa. We dispatch, I think, Sperry. I know we dispatch Berry Hill. So there's several small departments around we're dispatching now. We actually have the capability of dispatching everything in the area. But that's not going to happen.
Sure.
When we put E911 in service, I was talking to the chief of the Jenks Fire Department. And I was telling him, I said, you know, I can take all of your street system, put it in my computer, and I can put your apparatus in to dispatch them. I said, I can handle the whole thing from our office. And he said, go ahead. He said, he told me, he said, I'd be happy if Tulsa just took us over because I could ride the tailboard and make more. And he's the chief of the department. But the smaller departments around us have they always have relied on us for certain types of equipment. Well, now they're beginning to get that equipment. Except if you saw on the news, you saw Hazmat 1 in Broken Arrow helping with the sulfuric acid spill.
Yes, that was this week.
And Rescue 1 was down on the Creek Turnpike helping with the truck wreck. And they still rely on us. We have Oklahoma Task Force 1, which is Urban Rescue, Search and Rescue Task Force. And we house all of that equipment out at our new training center. Well, we also have the hazmat units over at Station 6. We've got hazmat units at Station 4. The rescue trucks for the fire department itself are all over at Station 4. And they've got the rescue boats. They've got a multitude of things that we did not have when I went to work out here. Now we dispatch all kinds of things. The hazardous materials runs. We dispatch medical runs. We didn't dispatch that many medical runs, and then all of a sudden here we are, more and more first responder with EMSA. And that's all a protection for the people of Tulsa.
Right.
But it all originates with a little group of people sitting behind a console, talking on a radio.
To whoever calls in and needs
For
help.
whoever calls in for help, or if EMSA sends information over, we dispatch.
And they're there.
Yep. One of the funniest dispatches I had to make we got a call from a man who had his cockatoo had gotten away from him. And I said, well, sir, I'm not real sure that the chief is going to approve us sending a piece of equipment out to get a cockatoo. And he said, this bird is $10,000. And I said, let me talk to the chief. So I talked to the chief, and he said, okay, send an engine down there to see what they can do. Well, the bird was clear at the top of a tree, of course.
Goodness.
So the engine called and said, send us the ladder. So I sent the ladder down. They had to set a 100-foot aerial ladder to get this cockatoo off out of the tree.
Well, I bet it was worth it to its owner.
Oh, yeah, he was very thankful. We got the bird without damaging it. But the guys came back and they called back and they said, a cockatoo in a tree.
Really?
That's going to look good in the logbook.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, but that just goes to show how they're always there no matter what.
Well, and we make unusual runs like that. You know, that was something of value.
Right.
You know, $10,000.
Yeah.
While it won't buy a fire truck, it will help buy some equipment.
Right.
But that guy, that was his pet bird. And you know, it's just like we get animals out of hot cars.
Right, right.
And,
or children.
Or children, for that matter. And please, folks, don't leave your children in cars or animals. We don't like having to break your windows.
Right.
And your insurance doesn't like it either.
No. Well, we just want to thank you for coming out and sharing with us, giving this little piece of history from your perspective, from your experience, and we just want to thank you for that, Mr. Pyle.
Well, I appreciate being here in my old home, and I hope our visitor will come through and visit with you.
Me too.
And if nothing else, just kind of go out in the cemetery and talk to them out there.
Okay.
I'm sure they're there.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we appreciate you letting us look at your book, too.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
For everybody that is watching, everything that we have discussed tonight, all the links will be below the video, if there is any. And for everybody that is watching, to all the military, men and women in uniform, paramedics, fire department, on behalf of the whole GPS team, thank you so much for your service. We definitely wouldn't be here doing what we do without you guys. Enjoy the video.
Take some time to push it. Take some time for hate.
The game plan tonight is me and Gina are going to stay inside the building. One of us is going to take upstairs. One of us is going to take the basement. Tim is going to go next door outside to the cemetery and see if he can encounter any Civil War or Union Confederates or anything like that. So, you ready, guys?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I wonder how these lights turn out. If we even turn them out.
They might not really be turned out.
Oh my God.
What?
I just got a really creepy vibe right here.
I got the same vibe when I came back down here.
This is the first time I've been coming down. I just came down here. I don't know why I can't turn this light off. All right, let's proceed. Okay, am I imagining that? Or did somebody just walk this way?
I didn't see it.
Is there anything down here in the basement with us? We're not here to hurt you or anything. We just want to talk a little bit. We have a little camera and light here, and there's other lights in the facility. If there's any way you can make your presence known, that would be great. Like I said, we don't want to hurt you. We want to talk, and we love the historical
experience.
History about this place. Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit. You know, if you are here, you want to, physically make your presence known, like touch me or something or anything. We'll walk to the other side of the room here. Maybe we can feel you stronger, you know. Anything would be great, you know, flipping the paper, you know, making a noise, maybe slamming the door. I know there's been a lot of construction going on.
So I'm just taking some pictures with the flash on to see if I can capture anything.
What's in this door?
That's the furnace.
That's the furnace?
Yeah. Open the door.
They're trying to find.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah, I see something there. A little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I've got like 50 different, I need to like an equipment belt. Because I've got like 50 different things on. I guess I don't need this flashlight necessarily.
Okay, keep her on here. I'll keep her on just in case we need it at some point.
Okay.
It never hurts to have multiple flashlights.
Let's try the K2 and see if we have anything. Okay, we've got a machine here. If there's anyone in here that wants to let us know they're here, all you have to do is come over and touch it, and we'll know if you're here close to us. Is there anyone over here? Did someone just touch this? All you have to do is reach your hand toward it. There you go. Can you touch it again? Maybe leave your hand on it. Very nice. Do you like the music?
Could you put your hand back on it for yes?
Oh, you do like the music.
Well, we'll tell Jody he had good taste.
I'm going to turn this on and see if we get any voices. Would you like to talk with us? Yes. Okay. Well, I've got another machine that sometimes you can talk through.
Apparently you're very ready to talk.
Bluetooth already opened.
Okay.
Waiting for Bluetooth connecting.
Oh, see, these aren't too old. I saw one.
I don't think I'm getting anything without the light on.
Oh, you're not going to, but I don't want to have the light blaring just yet.
Oh, that's fine. We'll just go without the light. People?
Yeah.
There's people over there. I can't tell how many.
There's the two that passed us over there. 1870 to 1954. Dude, Ida lived a long time. Jesse, not so much. What was that?
Where'd the people go?
Dude, what was that?
I have no idea. Let's go find out. I'd rather at least approach it and find out than walk away from it and have something come up.
Yeah, but we're in a part that I don't want to approach just something random and get... Let's come over this way. I don't know.
I don't see those people anymore.
Neither do I.
That's what got me. Heads up.
Whoa.
Broken stones?
Yeah, it is.
Found some broken headstones.
That sounded like
people.
Yeah, so do I.
I got my hands. I'm not too bothered.
I promise you, if all else comes to it, we will.
We can avoid it, yes, but I don't turn my back on stuff.
1906 to 1913, that's a little kid.
Child graves.
Somebody's got to be right over here. They keep hearing it. Let's come back over this way. Let's get further back to the darker part.
There's the road. We see a clown, I kill it.
If we see a clown, you better hope I'm not here. What is that?
It's a tomb?
Yeah, but look at the state it's in.
Okay, we'll do this.
Nope. You must not take very good care of them over here. What?
Sure we're allowed to enter this place. Because it's not very secluded.
Like, look at this.
Just tossed about.
Yeah. They're just knocked over.
People have no respect. That's why I want night vision.
See, that one was broken in half and someone put it back together. This too was also the one that they moved.
What?
So these were also some of the graves that they moved from downtown. Freemason. See how they're just kind of like tossed down. And some are facing one way and others are facing the other. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
Exactly what video you want.
This is a family. Dude. 1921.
Bugs all over.
Dude, there ain't even anything left. This is what he was talking about, Potter's Field.
What?
So this is what he was meaning by Potter's Field.
Keep the light there for a second.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, it would.
Or a heat vision, then I could just plop and scope.
Look at that, 1883 to 1943.
Right next beside it.
1876, or 1878, 1965. That didn't even, oh yeah. 1862 to 1940, and then 1857 to 1934.
My legs are gonna be eaten up.
Yeah, dude, so are mine. See, I don't know these holes. They have to be.
I thought a car was turning in for a second. That'd have to be.
They are.
It is. Look how overgrown and they are. They're just left here.
Yeah, this is just a stone. It just says 37.
We were trying to keep up the word.
I just know it sounded like something loud came out.
Are you still here with us? Just touch this item right here if you are.
He's playing music.
They wanted to talk to us and they said yes. So what happened was we heard a strange noise downstairs. Immediately ran upstairs and it's Jason and Gina trying to communicate with something. So that's what they're trying to pick up now. So let's see if we can catch something. music. Next, if you'd like the music, actually put in there for yes, and put it in there once.
Okay, we can talk to you through this machine right here. Charles? Did you know Mr. Pyle, who was here just a few minutes ago?
Finally.
Did you like the music we put on? Is there anything you want to tell us? Did you used to work in this building?
Ice would apply.
Are you one of the people that is in the cemetery that you like to visit here? You are. Do you walk through here and open the doors at night to leave?
If you are here with us tonight, could you verify your name for us? It's okay to talk. We're not here to harm you. We just want to talk to you a little bit. We love the historical history about the facility here. We understand it's dated back 1930s. Okay, maybe you're a shy person, you don't like to talk. It's okay. We do have another device here that can let us know when you're close by. Could you make that meter jump at all?
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you another question if you don't mind. Is it okay for us to be here? If it is, please make that meter jump anytime. Are you trying to tell us something? since it's okay for us to be here, can we try something real quick? Could you like maybe like touch me or Gina some sort of way to let us know that you are here? Okay. I understand you don't. Okay. Maybe you don't like strangers. It's okay. We're the stranger danger and ill. We don't want to harm you really, but just to be clear, could you make anything in this room move or door slam or something that really gets our attention?
Valentine.
Yeah, I hear it too, dude. Whatever it is, wherever they are, they're off on that side over there.
Go back toward the south.
You know, again, I say we're in a part of town I don't necessarily trust people that I walk up on.
Obviously, but what do we got here?
I don't know what this is right here.
The blank stone?
No, it's not. It actually has writing in it.
Camera can't pick it up. Can you decipher it?
Alice G. Davis, 1863 to 1930. Looks like maybe 33 or 35. But it's so worn, I can't see anything else.
Yeah.
Like when you're down there, and if you touch it, you can kind of see like the 1860,
yeah.
but you can't.
I can see a bit from the circle marks here, but camera won't pick it up at all.
Dude, that's crazy.
Get some history.
Forbes.
Jefferson.
Walter Thorpe.
What does that last name sound familiar?
Jim Thorpe. 1900 to 1933.
What?
Nothing. I'm just listening and looking at stuff. What the heck is this? That is a tombstone. Abel, this is one someone great engraved.
Yep, they engraved it themselves, it looks like.
Look at that. Abel something. 1915. Died January, or maybe that's June something. He was 18. Wow. That's old.
Yes, it is.
And he was young. And that is a fire engine. What if I did that to this one? Alice G. Davis.
Yeah, you can kind of make out it like that.
1863 to 1933. Ha! I figured out how we can read them. Dude, these are really old. 1882, 1932. Like, these are some old... And to think they moved most of these from where the BOK sits.
Just because they wanted to expand.
Yeah. Did you hear it?
Did. That's why I shut the lid.
I don't like this because I can't see.
What?
I said I don't like it because I can't see.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I shut the lid to the camera. It's still recording. Head back towards that way? Yeah, use that to scan. They did say there was that weird guy that lived in the apartments across the way. Here's him.
They're literally straight across from us.
Really?
Yeah. I can see him over by that tree walking. I'm not messing with you. And they're walking more towards us now.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're gonna walk this way.
It is.
My thing is, I don't know.
We came out and they started walking, they turned around and walked around. And we came around and they were in here, walking in here. And just swallowed like 5 bugs.
Dude.
What?
I'll wait till it gets a bit darker. A little later we'll walk back out there, but I'm not going to walk out there with people following me.
Do you remember me from this building when I got married here?
Great.
I think they like the music.
Do you love the music we're playing tonight? Would you like for me to change it? Okay, I'm not going to change it. To everybody that's watching at home, the device that's on the table here, that's jumping lights, is electric magnetic field. So right now, me, Gina, we don't. What is that?
Still out there?
Yeah. It's people.
Are they like?
We don't know.
That's the thing. We come out.
We go out here and some people walking by, and the next thing I know, they're in here with us. And then as we're walking out here looking, they're getting closer to us, circling around, coming back this way behind us. So I was like,
They kept trying to come around.
so I was like, let's
So we were
get in
like,
here. And then we come over here. There's people that pulled up. We're doing stuff. So I was like, let me in this freaking building.
That's why we were. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could pick.
Right here, unsavory kind.
Out, and there,
yeah, right down here in the parking lot.
I can make out a male voice and a female.
And out here, there was just people that were following us and kept getting closer and closer as we were walking.
We walked out the front door, and they were literally right on this side of the steps as we kind of went this way. By the time we went through the little hole in the fence, we came in. We don't know.
Okay, so weirdly enough, I guess there's some people kind of spooking out Tim and Ryan, so they decided to come back in for their own safety. So I think that's the best bet at this point. I don't know who's watching us or what the heck is going on. This night has totally took a turn on what we're doing, so we got to figure that out right now.
Okay, I'm going to set this down, and if you're here, you can walk up and touch it. Did you come downstairs with us? Let's try this up and see if we get anything.
I'm around.
Okay, do you want to say anything to us now? It's just Jason and I.
But
Can you tell us your name? Were you from the cemetery? Is anyone here with us? Do you know the intent of the people outside?
actually, license.
Are they here to harm us?
I'm getting ready.
They're getting ready. Should we go now? No. Should we stay here? Okay. That's where one of the employees said they were pushed down those stairs.
If these cameras roll, just turn lights off. I mean, one camera on you and one camera on me on the trail. How old are you? What was your name? Are you the one that was pushed down these stairs? Right close by where he got pushed down. I understand it was a tragic incident. I just want to talk about it a little bit. You know, communicate. You know, I'm not here to harm you. I just want to talk. You know, if you want to talk, feel free to say anything you want. Happy to. I'm here to let you know if you feel fine. It will really help. There's a group of investigators that wants to talk to you right now. It's been an interesting night so far. Yeah, we're all still kind of spooked out about it. I think the biggest thing I think we all experienced was right down this stairway. My first time going down there, I got this really weird vibe. Oh my god. I got this really weird vibe, and so did everybody else. So that they say that's where somebody was pushed down the stairway. I don't know. Let's just continue this investigation for a little bit, see if we're able to pick up anything. We got a little media here. She has a little spirit box. So let's figure this out.
That freaked me out. I wish I could turn this freaking light off. I don't feel anything weird.
The previous thing was that cemetery. I'm not gonna lie, that noise.
Well, I mean, that was creepy, but
I don't know what that noise is.
I think it was those two people trying to get up behind us. I think so anyways. I said I think it was them anyways.
This place?
But I'm not doubting this place probably isn't haunted. Being so close to the cemetery like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not only that, but like firefighters working here probably thinking it's a safe place to come.
It starts with the bugle blowing reveille over your bed when you arrive.
You like this music better?
If you do, just touch this and keep your hand on it, and we can tell.
I think probably try to put like the colors to a yes or no answer. Maybe it'll be able to answer better than that. Place never got broken.
Do you want us to change the music again? If you do, just touch this.
Definitely yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds still a little sporadic too.
So keep in mind, guys, this device, not all the time it's 100% accurate, but when it is accurate, you definitely notice it. Because whenever, like, the cell phone's right here and the device is way over there, sometimes we pick up the frequency, and the way you can tell is when the music is playing, it jumps to the music. But when it answers, it jumps really fast. So that's the way you're able to tell on this type of device here. So we're going to try to ask a few more questions, and hopefully we get some sort of answer from you guys.
Ball on your bum.
Are you coming from the cemetery? If you are, just touch this and let us know you came from the cemetery and you're just a visitor.
This is the G.I. Jive Man alive. They give you a private tank.
If you were a male, could you make this meter jump into the red?
Jack, if you still survive.
If you're a female, could you make this meter jump to the red?
Back in the truck. Fall on your
You're a female, okay. If you were in the military and you're a female, could you make this jump to the red?
Now, my friend used to jog out behind here and kept getting a message to say hello to Mary. Are you Mary?
Mary had started the spike.
If this is Mary, can you make that go toward the red? Just touch it, make it go toward the red if you're Mary.
Hello, Mary.
Another female.
If you like talking to Gina here, the female in the room, could you make that jump to the red? Do you like to talk to me, perhaps?
Kinda. Yeah.
So you're mutual. Are you from Tulsa, Oklahoma? Are you from another state? Are you still here with us?
Yeah, it did. We know it takes a lot of energy to talk to us.
Is this you messing with the flashlight? Do you feel like you have something you want to say to us tonight?
Did you live here when it was Indian territory? Were you originally buried at another cemetery and your body was moved here?
I'll take it with me. Like how they got Christmas lights hung. Christmas lights. I don't know what this is. Philosophy of sustainable design. Okay. Well, this is an old firefighter. Tulsa fire pillows.
Great cover image. Hot shot.
Whoa.
Mess.
Yeah.
What? What? You heard that, right?
Yeah.
That box been moved.
No. No, it hasn't.
What?
No, it hasn't. Yeah, it has.
I was gonna say, I don't think it was that far out.
The door just moved, is why I stopped right there.
What the fuck was that? I don't hear no pops or anything.
Shh. And why did my phone just stop?
It hasn't just stopped it. It is stopped.
Dude, that door.
I got chills.
They're multiplying. What the heck? Just a random chair down here. I'm with you though. That door moved. And I heard that pop sound when we were standing there, like something moved. Dude, that was weird.
Right. Do we go upstairs, see?
No.
Bring the box down? I mean, your phone just stopped.
I know.
And that box been moved. Well, where it last was. I'm telling you, this bottom part of this lump was not that far out.
That was weird. It's just a closet. Yeah.
I don't have chills anymore. Now I do. Now I do. Like, I have chills right here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't having that over there.
Whoa.
Right? Just got more intense, didn't it?
Dude, they're not going away.
No.
Dude, that's weird.
You should ask them if they feel that.
Dude, I still feel them on my legs. Yeah, I still got them on my legs. Still on my arms.
See if I can.
Ooh. Should try to get them to go away and see if they'll come back by walking right there. Yeah.
Walk upstairs and then go?
I'm trying to get them to go away.
I know. Mine will start to and then it hits again.
Like right in here.
Yes. There's no air vents, no nothing.
We turn the air up too.
Walk down the back up, see if I can get it.
Ooh.
Get them?
They haven't ever fully gone away yet, but they're still here. That's what gets me.
I'm approaching.
I don't know what.
Whoa. Jesus.
It's weird. I don't know. It's not like I'm being touched. It's just weird.
Don't move though.
I know, I heard it.
That mom's gonna move. The bottom part of that mom is not that far away from the door. What was that?
Bubba. What? Where?
Just over my car. So when I was panning around like this to turn to you, hoping the camera picked up, there's a bit of a small like black smudge. I went that way and that was it.